Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Becca with House of Lenormand. Today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2019, and I wanted to go ahead and say hello and welcome to all of the new subscribers that have come over from Marie's channel. Hi, welcome. Marie, thank you so very much. That was awfully kind of you. I'm very humbled, and thank you, thank you. I wanted to let you guys know, I finally was able to purchase a laptop, so I'm still filming on my iPad, but I'll be editing and uploading on my laptop, so I'm hoping that that helps out with the volume issue. So yeah, today I wanted to go ahead and continue on with the grand tableau that we had done for Donald Trump Jr. I am using my travel size Lenormand from Ciro Marchetti, and I'm doing the best I can to fit it within the frame, but you're still seeing this piece cut off here. So to reiterate, Donald Trump Jr. is the man. You can't see it because I think it's fallen out of frame. Let me see if I turn it this way. Okay, that's a little bit better. He's all the way up here. So he is at the very edge of the tableau. We can't see ahead of him. We can only see what's currently taking place right now. I had done another one to see, once I had gotten through this one, I did another one to see if I could get him inside of the tableau, and he still landed very, very close to the edge. He landed on this row, so we can only see one ahead. This tableau was to go from August until October of this year. So since he's right here, we can't see ahead. This is everything that he has to deal with before he can move forward. So we're gonna try to hit some high points on this one, and then I'll put the other one up so we can go through it together. So I hope you have some coffee or some water or a glass of wine, because this is gonna take us a little bit to go through. So to recap for all of the new subscribers, in the grand tableau, where the significator lands is really important, because that kind of tells you where things are. So like, say if he were to land here towards the middle, then we could see this as his present line, everything behind him as his past, everything before him as what's coming up. Well, that didn't happen in this tableau. He keeps landing towards the end of the tableau, so we can't see ahead. So when I did this tableau, I intended for him to be the man, Ivanka Trump to be the woman, Epstein to be the dog, and his father to be the bear. So I'm going to try to link the other tableaus down below for you guys, so that you feel free to check those out to get a better understanding of what's going on, because I think I've cut it up into portions. So we went over a lot of this stuff over here, and now let's kind of hit over here a little bit today. So I had said that there's something going on with either stolen jewelry, stolen money, criminal conspiracy, or it could quite possibly also be speaking about organized crime, because the ring lands in the house of mice and the mice lands back in the house of rings. So this one and this one here are both mirroring each other. The key lands in its own house, so that's very, very, very important. And the child lands in its own house. So what we're looking at over here on this side, it looks like, I was talking to my sister about this the other day, and I was saying that on my previous videos that he's absolutely broke, because the fish knights here to the coffin, that's the end of money, end of business, loss, like bankruptcy. And the coffin lands back in the house of fish. So he's experiencing some financial problems, and he may be trying to get funding through financial institutions, several banks. And also, they shut down the charity, didn't they? The charity that they had, because the heart lands in the house of the garden. So that's a charitable organization. And here's his health, and there's the end of money. I'm pretty certain, I forget the judge's name. If you guys can remember, or please let me know in the comment section down below. But they shut down the charity organization that they had because of blatant criminality, or rampant criminality, I think is what she had said. So that looks like that's coming in here, so they can't access that money because the charity was shut down. And it looks like the charity as well was set up to accept gifts that were coming in from overseas. A couple of you guys had mentioned that Ivanka Trump had been involved in laundering. I guess she had a jewelry business at one point, and I don't know if it was her business partner, but he's facing criminal charges for laundering. And I had said that here, like a criminal conspiracy, laundering jewelry, laundering diamonds, laundering something of high value that's being stolen, but it's also being laundered. So that looks like a problem here coming in as well. I don't know how far or how long ago that was, but it looks like the sources of income that they had that was being that was bringing in money was through illegal means, and they don't have access to it. And the reason that I'm saying that is because if we follow the fish here, which is your money, if we go across this line, the fish is in the house of towers, so that's a financial institution like a bank. The heartlands in the house of gardens, so that's a charitable organization, but they're having trouble accessing the money because the storks lands in the house of mountains. So it's like, it's a difficult change, a difficult transfer. It's somewhere that it's hard to get to. And then we have the tower in the house of crossroads. So if they do have money, it's often remote locations, perhaps overseas, because the ship is right here next to the fish, but also they can't move it. They can't move the money because of all of the investigations that's going on into them. Right here, the criminal conspiracy and the investigations into the organizations, the charitable organizations that they had, because the fox lands in the house of heart and the heart lands back here in the house of garden. So it looks like the money that they do have, they can't move it around. The movement to move it from here to there or from one account to the other has been somewhat delayed. They can't move the money because of the investigations. Here we're seeing the big financial problems here, and the inability to move the money. It looks like he's dealing with the news of Epstein's death. And here's what's funny. He is the one that's most directly linked to the coffin. And the reason that I say that is because the man lands in the house of coffin. The coffin's back over here. And then right before it is the tree that goes back to him. Here's what's interesting. In the original grand tableau that I had done for Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein showed up as the dog. And we know that he was arrested at the airport. I'm going to link that video down below. All the videos that I've done, because I've had to break that one up as well. But Jeffrey Epstein, I went through and I followed his chain of houses all around the tableau. He's nowhere near the coffin. he is nowhere near the coffin. But this guy is, if you follow the chain of houses, which kind of has me scratching my head, going, what in the world is going on? You know, and I think here in the community, everybody is thinking different things. I'm of the camp that he was murdered. Just, you know, that's what based on my interpretation of the cards that I got, I'm thinking he was murdered. There's others that believe that it was assisted. There's others that believe that he was taken away somewhere. It's quite difficult to see. And even in this tableau, Epstein doesn't go anywhere near the coffin, not even if you follow the line of influence. Because if this is Epstein and we follow him down, this is the friend that has been distanced over time because they're both on separate corners. If the dog would have been closer, then that would have been a friend that he still has. But it's been a friend that's been distanced over time because of the rule of near and far when reading the tableau. So it's a friend that's been distanced over time. He was pretty successful in bringing in the gifts and setting up arrangements. And there's a successful transfer and criminal conspiracy here, and perhaps stolen jewelry as well. This way over here, it's saying that this person had an organization where they were accepting gifts from overseas, perhaps from some sort of a regal family that is dangerous to his life. And there's a serious problem that needs to be solved here for Donald Trump Jr. because his life is in danger. I mean, I'm seriously going to err on the side of caution to say that he ordered the hit because of the order that it comes in. It's the scythe in the house of tree, the tree in the house of man, and then him in the house of coffin. If it would have been the other way around, it would have been him ordering that, but this is what he's receiving. He's receiving a danger to his life, which has me kind of scratching my head. I mean, it could just be something simple like some sort of surgery or a break, like a broken bone or a broken wrist or a broken leg or something. But what's concerning me is that he has the coffin and he lands in the house of coffin. What I also wanted to point out here is because I was talking to my sister, if the coffin is being literal, this could be talking about a safe, a black box where you hide things, where you bury things. The coffin knights over to the mountain knights over here, okay? The coffin also knights to the fish and the storks. So we have the coffin in its own house, multiple financial institutions, a delay of transfer, and here's the transfer again. The mountain knights over to the fox, and it also knights over here to the child. Here's where I really appreciate you guys leaving comments for me down below. Because I'm just interpreting what I see. I'm not too familiar with the background. When you guys said that Ivanka Trump had been involved with money laundering through a jewelry business, and then they found a pile of cash and diamonds in Epstein's safe. This is a safe. This could quite literally, the coffin could quite literally be a safe. And the mountain is also somewhere where there's a pile up. So this could quite literally be a pile of stolen jewelry that are of high value, that are rocks, a pile of paper money, because the fish knight's over here. Okay, so I'm wondering because she has it right in front of her, the criminal conspiracy or the stolen jewelry. I'm wondering if what they found in Epstein's safe belongs to her, to Ivanka. At least the diamonds, at least that. Perhaps this was some sort of payment that was ordered by her father at some point, and they just paid the diamonds over without knowing why. Their father said do it, and they just did it. So, I mean, that is a possibility as well. And I want to thank you guys for pointing that out, because that could quite literally fit into that, where there is a pileup of stolen jewelry or stolen rocks or something that's stolen that's of high value that's not money, and also a pile of money here, cash, paper money that was in the safe. And perhaps that's also where he's losing money here. It looks like on Ivanka's line down here, she's having some opportunities with an organization that's charitable, that is, but there's something foreign that's been cut off that was set up by Epstein here, because the house goes back to the dog. So it looks like she may have known about not necessarily I'm going to err on the side of caution that she knew about the trafficking of children, but she may have been aware of what was going on within the organization, where they were taking foreign donations and foreign money at Jeffrey Epstein's house, and perhaps he was the one that set up some contacts because of the financial problems that they're having, where they can't get funded. Like I said, there was a verbal argument here. Perhaps that had to do with a child from Epstein and the father that's being investigated right now. There's financial institutions or new financial institutions, or with the fish knighting the child that's in its own house. This could be talking about like a small, the fish lands in the house of Tower, and the child lands in its own house. I'm wondering if he set up, shell companies, small companies, where the charitable donations were coming in as well, other than the charity that they had. If they were also, excuse me, let me get some coffee. If they were also setting up, shell companies as well, where they were accepting gifts. But she is, she's quite confused, and she's in some trouble. I was trying to figure out this letter because it goes back to her. I'm trying to figure out the letter because it goes back to her. So let's take a look here at this box right here for the letter. We have the heart in the house of Garden, that's the charity. The tree in the house of Junior, so that's his health. The coffin in the house of Fish, so that's bankruptcy or the end of a business, like an ending to the business. We have the storks in the house of Mountain, which is a delay and a transfer. We have the letter back in her house, and the crossroads in the house of Anchor, so that could be talking about securing the election. We have the tower in the house of Crossroads, so that's multiple institutions, multiple corporations, or multiple government agencies, so like perhaps a court. We have the mountain in the house of Lilies, so that could be just quite literally old rocks, and the moon in the house of, what is this? Cross. So that's a burden to the career. So we're seeing the shutting down of the charity here. And the transfer, but there's a document with her here, a news report, something that's written. It could be a financial statement, it could be cash money, it could be something that she wrote that has her name on it, perhaps some sort of a request to return something in exchange, because the storks is there for securing the election. But there's permanent confusion, though, permanent trouble regarding that document. And we know Donald Trump doesn't write emails. This goes down this line here. Let's look at this line of influence. If this is the organization, there has been some verbal arguments here, or it could also be talking about like literally talking about sex, but it looks more like a verbal argument because this is a charitable, there's been some arguing around the charitable organization that there's a document here that has her name on it that is burdensome to her career. So I'm thinking what this is also talking about, besides the criminal conspiracy to secure the election, perhaps organized crime as well, because the ring is in the house of mice, the mice is in the house of ring, so those two are marrying. And the whip down here, I'm wondering if this is also, and the stolen jewelry, I'm wondering if this is talking about that. It's talking about securing the elections. It's talking about where he's gotten his money from, shutting down the charitable organizations that's causing them money trouble. So they're trying to find other avenues to get money from for the family, because they're having serious money issues here, and the charity was what was bringing in stuff. But it looks like he's broke. I think we've picked up this enough. I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to put up the second one that we did. This was July 26th was when we did the second one, so that we can see, because I'm still only able to see one line ahead. So again, to reiterate very quickly, because he lands on the very, very back, we can't see ahead. So this is everything that he has to deal with before he can move forward. So if the crossroads is talking about securing the election, it could also be speaking about him being stuck in multiple areas. So if he's got the charity investigation going on, if he has the FEC violations going on, if he has the criminal conspiracy stuff going on, the where the money's coming from overseas, if that's going on, if they link him back to Epstein, I mean, this kid's going to be stuck in multiple different places with legal battles. So let me pause this here and put up the next one. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So this is the second tableau that I did for Donald Trump Jr. As you can see, we can only see one column ahead. Here's Donald Trump Jr. So this is his present. This is everything that's in his past. This last row here is what is coming in for him. This tableau was to go through August through October. So Ivanka Trump is the woman, and the bear is his father. Let me see. Yeah, that's about it. So as we can see here, this is his present line. This column right here, this is what's coming in. This is everything that's behind him. So we can see here that the first card that opened up the tableau, I don't think you can see it, it's the book. So there's news coming in for him regarding a secret. that has to do with an opportunity overseas, and affairs that are coming in overseas that was offering a career for his family, and the quite possibly the elections here, or a choice that he has to make in regards to very nefarious contracts. And that's the news that's coming in, because the ring lands in the house of clouds. That's a very troublesome partnership, a confusing contract, but usually it's a very troublesome partnership. And the whip lands in the house of snakes. So that's big trouble. Those are two very negative cards. So that could be talking about lying about abuse, lying about aggression, and it could also be lying and causing big problems regarding something that had to do with a sex ring here. And there's something that doesn't come to him, though. It's like it gets ended, it gets stopped. But that's what's coming in. So perhaps everything that is going on with the overseas affairs and the trafficking that was going on of the young girls with Epstein, and his partnership in that perhaps was covered up and lied about, and perhaps they tried to end it here on this very top row. On this second row, we're seeing that there's some serious confusion or big trouble in regards to gifts that were given, or some sort of financial generosity that was cut off. The fish lands in the house of scythe, and the scythe is right behind it. So that's businesses and money that is being cut off. And here we're seeing his father perhaps had some sort of a meeting or a conversation in regards to a small organization, or an organization that had to do with children that's being investigated. But his father is blocking it. There's some sort of a delay going on here with that investigation into the children within this organization. And there's an email here, because the letter lands in the house of stars. So that could be an electronic message, electronic mail. So there's something here with an email that has to do with money being cut off, money that's coming in as from overseas that's being cut off, and conversations having to do with his father that were about children in an organization that's on an email, so it's documented somewhere. On this bottom row, this third row here across, we're seeing that there's a very successful upgrade, or a successful change, or some sort of a promotion here that has to do with a friend that is a celebrity, because the stars lands in the house of dog, and the dog lands in the house of tower. So this could be talking about Epstein being incarcerated, and he was going to speak about what was going on within this organization, but as we can see here, he's not going to talk. The birds is followed by the coffin, so that's like an end to negotiations, an end of a conversation. So that talk is not going to happen, also because the coffin lands in the house of mountain. So right next to it, we can see him securing the elections, but he's absolutely worried or full of anxiety, because there was an opportunity for an affair, or an opportunity for some sort of generosity here. And we'll start following the houses here in a second. We can see here that there was an upgrade, a change, or a transformation to a partnership, and that's what's causing him a lot of guilt and anxiety, because of the secrets that are being kept there that involves him. The key lands in the house of man. There's a woman that's being investigated as well, so perhaps that could be Ivanka Trump, because she's back here. A woman that is being investigated, and we're seeing old gifts, old generosity And then something to do with health here and a woman's career. So I'm wondering if this is talking about the charitable organization that they had for people that were children that were sick, but they were using that money to enrich themselves and it wasn't going to charity at all. And then on this bottom row here on the line of fate, it's saying that there's something that took place a long time ago, perhaps sometime in the winter, that has to do with family business. And he's going to be stuck in court for a while fighting all this stuff because he's been caught in a lot of lies that are going to find him guilty. So the snake lands in the house of cross. So the cross is back here. So that's talking about a burdensome lie. A burdensome lie that's, there's news coming in about that. That's going to put an end to a delay. Verse 21, that has to do with his father and his father having a conversation about an organization that has to do with children that he's being investigated for. And Ivanka Trump somehow is wrapped up in this with her career in the family that was bringing in money that was cut off. Perhaps there was some sort of an argument or a dispute, and that's what they're lying about. So let's start going down these columns here. There's some sort of, there's news about a secret coming in and some gaslighting for a successful promotion. So it looks like whatever they've covered up here does come to light, and it does get exposed, whatever they're covering up here with the book and the clouds. And what gets exposed has to do with their contracts, because the storks lands back in the house of ring. So it has to do, the whatever they're covering up in their secrets has to do with the exposure of partnerships and contracts and agreements that were made. Down this row here, we're seeing an opportunity for something that is taking place overseas, because the financing or the business was cut off. And here we're seeing the celebrity friend that had some burdensome secrets. So this could be talking about, because the stars lands in the house of dog and the dog is right after it. This could be talking about all the secrets that they've been keeping with Jeffrey Epstein about everything that's been going on overseas and how they've been funded through that somehow through partnerships here. That is the burdensome secret that is being carried, and that secret was with Jeffrey Epstein. So now let's follow this column down. We're seeing affairs that are taking place overseas, perhaps some sort of generosity, but it's cut off. It was cut off perhaps due to some sort of an argument or some sort of a dispute. This person was imprisoned or isolated, and there is some sort of a document that has to do, that exposes corruption. Sorry about that. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode. I keep getting robocalled, you guys, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. They keep spamming me. I get like 15 calls a day. So this could be talking about Jeffrey Epstein here and his contacts overseas and how he organized partnerships for financial opportunities here. But this person was found guilty, that he was isolated. There's a document here that has to do with corruption. Also could quite possibly be a document that was stolen or lost. But it looks like it's been preserved somehow. it's been preserved. And it goes back to him. So if this is talking about destroying emails, destroying documents that were sent electronically, perhaps some sort of a report, an email, a receipt, anything that's documented and written, it links back to him. And if they have tried to destroy it, it's been preserved somehow. So I don't know if they get into the servers and find it, but it's been preserved. And then on this next row here, we're seeing the reputation of the family, or the career of the family, specifically his father, and what he's saying perhaps on Twitter, or what he's using his voice to speak about in public speaking. And Donald Trump Jr. has the answer to what's going on in the family business. So it's looking like there's also perhaps documents, and this can involve a series of players, whether that's Michael Cohen, Hope Hicks, anyone that may have been involved with the organization to elect his father here. If they have tried to destroy documents, as well as his partnership with Epstein, as well as Jared Kushner, Jr. has the answer to that. Here we're seeing that there's something here to do with public elections, but something ended here. What ended? It's like the end of obstacles, but this is a serious loss here, and a woman that's investigating him within the government. So this is more like your law enforcement officers, like your FBI or your investigators, and these are judges. So he's still being investigated here for what took place within the organization, where they're getting their charitable gifts from, perhaps the email with Hope Hicks, the partnerships and agreements that they were making, communicating with his father, or within the group of people here, to secure his father's election. And that's what he's being investigated for. We're seeing there is a troublesome partnership. It's very clouded over. It's extremely difficult. And there's an investigation into children here, also securing the elections, and gifts that were being given to them, and they lied about it. And here we're seeing, on this row here, we're seeing the abuse, criticism, something that is chronic, that they're lying about, that his father has obstructed, and he's really worried about it for his health and being exposed for the partnerships that they had. So it's looking like this is the second grand tableau that we did, and it's looking like it's running the same theme, and we're only able to see one column ahead. So it looks like from now until October, he's still going to be stuck in all of this legal stuff. And he may be for a while, because the tower lands in the house of the anchor, which means you're stuck. You're not moving. You're permanent there. So it looks like he's going to be saddled with serious legal issues from now until October. And even though this tableau was only for 3 months, from August till October, as far as time goes, the anchor is 1 year minimum. So he may be stuck with legal issues for at least another year. And there's no clear direction forward, because right here it's just trouble on his line of fate. Let's take a look here at his his money. So it looks like if we follow this line across, it looks like they were having money problems and they weren't able to get funding because the fish lands in the house of scythe and then the scythe is right behind it. So they were having difficulties getting either financing or money. Like they can't get to their money, or they don't have any, or it was cut off. And then we're seeing his father taking a position, having conversations with the public or with an organization. So that could be the Inauguration Committee, that's what it's looking like here, because the garden knights here to the bouquet, and it knights here to the key, it knights to the heart, and it knights here. So it looks like there's still investigations going on to his role within the Inauguration Committee of how they were perhaps skimming money off the top here with the fish in the house of scythe and the scythe in the house of fish. So that could be business that's cut off, like I said, or that they were just cutting off the top for themselves within the Inauguration Committee. And perhaps that's where the emails come in with the electronic documents and the partnerships that they were forming to get donations, charitable donations to the organization, and then taking a cut out of it. Let me see. So we have that, and then there's new investigations, or it could be small investigations, or it could be investigations that are in the early stages, but they're being delayed by his father. He's blocking something. But then there's a electronic report here. So it looks like with the whatever happened with the inaugural committee, the money that they're taking in from overseas that they were skimming off the top that his father's being investigated for, it may be in its early stages, but it's being blocked. But those investigations are ongoing here with the Fox. So they didn't completely shut this down. If we follow this column down the row, this is the elections, something that happened in an organization and then it was shut down or it ended. But then there's other investigations that are ongoing here with the Fox and the Tower. So the Tower knights to the birds. So that's perhaps hearings in court, talking to court officials, talking to investigators perhaps. This could be, let me see, talking to investigators about, because the birds lands in the house of the garden, this could be talking about conversations, negotiations that were taking place within the organization, whether that's the Inauguration Committee, the transition team. What else could he have been involved in? Other meetings that took place. There's still ongoing investigations into that. And if Hope Hicks is in here, I wouldn't know who she is, but there's emails. Okay, there's emails going on here. And when I did this tableau, I had designated this for Jared Kushner. So perhaps they find another email here that has to do with Jared Kushner speaking to him, to Donald Trump Jr., about how they're going to set up this inaugural committee or skim money off the top, because he's corrupt. This person is corrupt here. And they're also very worried about the document that may have been found that's electronic, that links back to him. Let's see here. So we already went down this line. So for the money, it looks like it was cut off and they were trying to get it out of the inaugural committee, and there's new investigations that are being blocked, but they have the electronic documents. So let's take a look at this little box spread here. There's secrets here. We read it down this line. We're going to read this box. there's secrets and cover-ups, but it gets exposed with the son following that. There's overseas financing that are proving to be successful, and there's let me see, an affair or some sort of generosity that was cut off for this person. And I had designated this to be, let me see here, Jared Kushner, okay? There's some sort of a secret going on overseas with that has to do with affairs and generosity. There's big trouble around his money here because they're not sure where, how to get it, because the clouds lands in the house of bouquet. So they're not sure. There's confusion on how to get the money because it's being cut off and they can't access it. And then here we see Jared Kushner stepping in. There's a secret here that gets exposed very suddenly with the book knighting here to the scythe, and it also knights here to the stars. So whatever secret they were keeping with Kushner, perhaps that was a partnership to seek funding from overseas and gain success that way, it gets exposed, and that's where it exposes the partnerships and the transfers. I'm going to follow the fish around to see if we can get some more information. So the money was cut off, and that led to an argument that he lied about and he's being found guilty for keeping secrets. And the news is coming in about an ending that an ending and a delay for his father for speaking about something that happened within an organization. Let me see. A new investigation into Ivanka Trump, or a new investigation that has to do with the woman here. Let me see. For the reputation or the career of the family to bring in money. Okay, so let me see here. So they're having money problems. The money was cut off and they were scrambling to get funding. So they lied, and that's where the burden's coming in. Burdened secret here, and the news is coming in about an ending that's being obstructed by his father, that has to do with the conversations. Verse 12. Sorry, you guys, I have it printed here on a Word document because it's easier for me to see what's mirroring and what's in its own house. Let me see. He's obstructing it, and there's a conversation about the organization, a new investigation into a woman for the career of the family to get money. I'm thinking they may uncover. Let me see, this night's here, this night's here, this night's here. Okay, so I'm thinking besides the emails that they have on Hope Hicks, where they were chatting about how they were going to set up payments to Stormy Daniels and the other women involved, hush money payments, which could be the news about hushing, being quiet, not speaking, and here as well, not speaking. I'm wondering if they're going to uncover that we have not heard about yet, but they said on the news that they had gotten everything and the emails from Hope Hicks. So we know everybody that was involved in that organization. It was Hope Hicks, it was Junior, it was the oh gosh, what's his name? Weiselberg, the accountant. I'm sure Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump were in on it too. besides those documents coming out, I'm wondering if they're going to uncover documents as well where they were asking for foreign generosity money to come in through the organization to help get his father elected, and that was the agreement that was made. So like taking donations from overseas to help them out, skimming money off the top, not only to pay, because they paid Stormy Daniels and the other women from the charity, which is here, the garden knighting over here to the heart. But I'm also seeing the ship right here, and the ship is right before the fish. So they may also uncover documents, whether it's emails, and it looks like Jared Kushner's involved, for foreign funding, foreign money, foreign business to help get this person into office in the elections. And they had money to gain there. So kind of like selling the office. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, at this point I wouldn't put it past them. So let's take a look here at Jared Kushner. We're going to go down this little line, this little box right here. He's proven to, his money was cut off here. Remember, the fish lands in the house of Scythe, and the Scythe is right behind it. His funding was cut off, or he was having serious money problems, and Donald Trump perhaps told him who to speak to. He perhaps told him to get in touch with Junior here, because we have the bear in the house of birds, the birds in the house of the garden, and the key going back to Donald Trump Jr. So for Kushner, it looks like he was having money problems. He spoke with Trump. Trump told him to talk to Junior to get the answers, or for them to set up some sort of a partnership to get the money here with the fish, the dog, and the key. Okay. We can see here that he was having trouble again with money, and it was proven to be difficult, and that's where the secrets were coming in from. He's in danger, and he's quite nervous about it, quite worried. And we can see that Donald Trump, this could just be him going on Twitter, going freaking nuts or whatever. But it looks like he had Kushner and this guy, Junior, partner up to try to get money. And that makes me wonder, because you guys, the Birds is a small meeting. It's not a large group. Think about like a telecon or something with your business associates. It's a small group of people talking, chitter chatter, using your voice to speak. It's also nervousness. The Birds Knights over here to the tower. Okay, that could be him and Junior holding that meeting at Trump Tower with a suspicious woman, because the what do you call it? The fox lands in the house of woman. Okay, so this could be talking about the meeting that Donald Trump instructed Kushner and Junior to take to get funding with the woman at Trump Tower here, and how he also instructed them to lie, because the snake goes back to the house of what do you call this, cross. So he's guilty of that, and he's super worried, like pooping his pants worried. We may think that that investigation is done. It appears to be ongoing here. There's something about it that is still going on with the meeting that they took with the suspicious woman at in the tower, and it was looking for funding. They were looking for money here, and here, because they didn't have any. They didn't have any money. So I'm wondering. Because we all know Jared Kushner will take, I mean, he'll sell his grandma for $1. You know, that's just disgusting. But And here's the foreign money coming in here down this road, but then it becomes a burden for him, for this secret that he's keeping. If we look down this line of influence, there's a secret about the money that was cut off for Jared Kushner in the tower and Junior taking that meeting to secure, where's the anchor here? To secure the election. The anchor lands back in the house of Crossroads, and the Crossroad is up here in the house of Tree. So it looks like they were trying, that meeting was to get funding. It was to get money for the election. And then they were instructed to lie about it. Well, Junior was instructed to lie, but that partnership comes to light. I mean, we've seen a little bit of it on the news, but it looks like there's more. And then what's interesting here is that Kushner doesn't talk. He won't talk. If we follow his line, we've already looked at his little box. If we follow his line, he doesn't talk. The birds lands in the house of the garden. So that's a meeting. And that is also the public. So what was said in that meeting does not become public. It's followed by the coffin here, and the garden, which is the house, which is talking about the public and a large group of people. It's followed here. So he's not going to talk about it. And I'm wondering if he's going to pin it on, because of this line here, his little square. The key goes back to Junior. So it looks like he's not going to talk about what he did or his role in that meeting to ask for funding because they were broke. It looks like he's going to pin it back on this guy. Let me see. Let's see what's ending here. Here we have his father, Trump, telling them, talking to them, holding a meeting with them about what to say to an organization, to Junior. We can see here that what is public does not come out, but then there's some suspicious around the gifts here, a suspicious gift. So that whole story about adopting children, nobody buys it. It's just crap, and they're still being investigated for it. And here we're seeing more investigations and something that is in the early stages that has to do with an investigation to secure the elections for him. So, but that's stuff we already know. That's stuff we already know. And like I said, he is right here. We can only see one column ahead. So it looks like from now, the timeline that was set for this tableau was from August to October. This is where he's at right now. So he's still dealing with all of this. Even though we assume that it's done, for him, it's still ongoing. We may not see it, but it's still ongoing. And he's going to be tied up with legal problems for a long, long time. Here's the email that's coming in for him that had to do with the affairs and an opportunity for a woman here. And I had intended Ivanka Trump to be the woman, but this could also be, you know, the other women that were involved. Man, what a mess. What a mess. They're broke. They're looking for funding. Donald Trump told him, hey, you and Junior told Kushner, you and Junior go take this meeting. That's how we're going to get the funding. Lie about it and say that it was for adoptions here, which nobody's buying. So that's how they were able to get the money. And it came through Junior. Kushner and Junior were the ones that were able to secure the money. Let's follow this ring around because I can only see here. Well, let's knight it first. There's an end of a partnership. within, there's an end of a partnership here, or the end of an agreement for him that has him really, really worried about the terms of that partnership, or the terms of that agreement. The partnership is with his father, and there's an electronic message, like an email where they were making agreements. And we know that that can be Hope Hicks, but it could also be other stuff that, like, between him and Jared, to set up a meeting to take the money, set the meeting up at Trump Tower to take the money. So there could be emails about that as well. And even though they may have tried to destroy it, here with the the mice in the house of letter, even though they may have tried to destroy it or lose it or whatever, it gets recovered. Because if this is the document that they destroyed, Junior has it, the investigators discover it. It clears up after the mice, it clears up by the investigators. And it could be a woman that's investigating this, because the fox lands in the house of woman and the woman lands in the house over here. So this could be a career woman that's investigating the family and their financial ties, where they got it from. So whatever they tried to destroy, it comes out. If they don't have it already, they will have it soon. We may not have heard about it, but it's an email between, what's his name? Kushner and Junior, setting up the meeting to take money. I'm sorry I'm all over the place, you guys, but these tableaus are quite intricate. So I hope I'm not confusing anybody here. This here could be talking about the sex ring, with the ring and the whip. Usually it shows up the other way, but you know, that's, I'm not even dismissing that at this point. Oh, like I said, we were going to follow the ring around. So there's confusion around an agreement, and a lot of gaslighting around an agreement that has ended. An agreement with his father that has ended, that involves Donald Trump Jr. and Kushner. So they think they may have, they think that they've ended it, but the investigations are still ongoing. So the partnerships or the agreements that were made, it looks like there's multiple partnerships here. There's multiple partnerships here. Some are new, some may be in the early stages, or there may be small investigations into the partnerships, but there's several of them. And let me see. Also, as well as the organizations and the obstructions that his father has made. So, okay. So multiple investigations that have to do with partnerships and agreements that are in the early stages of investigations, but his father is obstructing them. But don't worry, they're moving forward. He hasn't been able to stop them. He hasn't been able to, like, I would be worried if this was down here. That means that it's done, kaput. But no, it's ongoing. You follow this line, they're ongoing, they're ongoing. Okay, so the confusing or troublesome agreements have to do with gifts and bribery. I'm wondering if this is talking about gifts and bribery, and maybe it's with the GOP as well. Maybe it's with the GOP as well. Or it's and let me see, how did that go again? Confusing partnerships or troublesome partnerships that have to do with receiving gifts. For this, And here's what's weird. This could also be a woman that's a redhead that he was talking to here and here. Conversations about conversations with an organization that was corrupt here. And there's a document, like an email or something, with an organization that's corrupt that they were taking gifts from and they were covering up. I'm wondering if this is talking about the NRA and a woman that's a redhead that was younger that spoke with his father. I'm wondering if this is Maria Butina as well, because not only am I seeing perhaps Letitia James that's in with the Fox in the Tower, Letitia James, which is the SDNY Attorney General, is she, or the AG? I think that's who she is, that's looking into them. This could also be because the bear nights here, it nights here, and it nights here through an organization right in the middle of it. I'm wondering if this is his father talking to Maria Butina. Maria Butina has been arrested. She's isolated right here with the Fox and the Tower. I'm wondering if she spoke and told them everything about how they were getting gifts through the organization, and their partnership that's confusing is coming through the NRA. And Junior has the answer to that. Junior has the answer to that. He's going to be the key. He's going to be the key, huh? For corruption. And then there's a document or something that's been destroyed or is lost. But it's an email with Jared Kushner about the tower. Could be about the Trump Tower meeting that they took here, setting up the payments. Like I said, that Trump Tower meeting, it's looking like Donald Trump instructed both of these guys to take that meeting with the woman at Trump Tower, who is not what she appeared to be. Also, he may have instructed them to hold meetings with the NRA, and that's where Maria Butina comes in to get money for themselves, not for the election, for themselves. And this is also a person that's isolated to secure the election so that they can not expand, but what do you call it? Branch out successfully and then upgrade and change the partnerships. So let me see here. Let me follow this around again in my head. I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense right now, you guys. I'm trying to figure this out. So we have confusing partnerships or troublesome partnerships that were set up to receive gifts. Or like they were happy to take, but it's covered up. It's obscured. You can't see it clearly. So it's like the partnerships that they've made can't be seen clearly. And it's an old gift that Donald Trump Jr. has the answer to. And there's corruption here with a lost document. But they have it. They have it. Whatever they tried to destroy, whether it was an email or a paper record, it looks like they're able to recover it. And it links back to Jared Kushner and perhaps the Trump Tower meeting, or what he's been telling investigators as well, because the dog nights over to, well, actually the dog is in the house of Tower, and the Tower goes back to the house of Anchor. that they're investigating them for. Huh. To secure the elections. To be able to branch out and promote, like self-promotion, promote themselves through that partnership. So, or promote the people that they're in partnership with. So like cover it up so that it doesn't come out that the agreements that were made was to secure the election, get funding for themselves, secure the election, and then do favors here and here through the family or his father, because now he would be in a position of authority because of the bribes. But what's interesting here is that this here could be a meeting, the meeting that took place at Trump Tower, the meeting that took place with the suspicious woman that was a lawyer. What's her name? Veselnitskaya. I'm also seeing Maria Butina here. I'm also seeing the Attorney General at SDNY. What's interesting, though, I'm not seeing... Well, hold on. Because the fish lands in the house of Scythe. The Scythe is right after it. And the Scythe goes back to the... What do you call it? The whip. So this is not directly money laundering. I'm thinking that through the investigations, they were able to shut that channel off. So they're not able to continue to launder the money. They can't get to it. They can't get to it. And based off the previous reading, I was saying that he was broke. He has no money. And it's looking more and more like, since they started ramping up these investigations, not only into the organization, the charitable organizations, and everything else that they're being investigated for, they can't get to their money. It could be that this, if this is not talking about a sex ring, this could also be talking about an obscure partnership that was made in an agreement that was made to launder through an organization here. And that meeting was set up. He instructed Junior and Kushner to take that meeting to get the money for themselves, and then like, pay us, we'll launder the money for you, but we're going to take our cut. And that's got Kushner really worried, like pooping his pants worried, because he's also being investigated. The dog Knight's here. He's being investigated by a woman. We're not seeing it, but it's showing it. And it looks like the minute he gets caught, he's going to pin it back on Kushner, or back on Junior, because the key is right next to him. And the key goes back to Donald Trump Jr. also in his little box. He's got the mice right below him, and then the key right after it. So when he gets caught, if he hasn't already spoken to authorities here and here, the birds here, but then this is saying that he doesn't talk. If he hasn't already talked to authorities, when they show him the evidence that they had, perhaps they were able to recover the documents, emails, whatever it was that they tried to destroy here. He's not going to have anywhere to go, so he's going to pin it back on his brother-in-law. But that's what's looking like is coming in for him from August through October. He's still wrapped up in all this mess, all of it. And it looks like he's going to be stuck with this for a while. Like I said, because the tower lands in the house of Anchor, he's stuck. And the snake lands in the house of Cross. So he's stuck with the burden of this lie that they've been trying to keep secret back up here to the book. But it all comes out. It's all revealed. He hasn't cleared it. Another thing I wanted to note is the celestial bodies in the tableau. They're pretty far. The sun and the stars is over here. If you follow the line, it goes to the coffin. So he's not successful, and Kushner is not successful either. It looks like Kushner doesn't talk either here, but eventually he does. As time, I would have to do a tableau on Kushner to see where he's at, because here's the communications, or I'm sorry, the new organizations, and then he's being investigated as well. He's being investigated by a woman, or the meeting that he took with the suspicious woman, that both of them. And the birds also, remember, it's pairs. It's communications, negotiations, conversations, anything that you use to speak. And it's also the card of a pair. So both of them, Kushner and Junior, the meeting that they took at Trump Tower to get themselves money. So he's still going to be, that's ongoing. That's ongoing. Let me see. The tower goes back to the anchor for the election, secure the election and the government, his well-being and his life, his health, a successful transfer through a partnership that has been clouded over to receive the gifts from, receive the gifts, and he was the one that set it up. He was the one that set this up under the instruction of his father, and then they destroyed documents. But there's something electronic, like I don't know if they were able to subpoena the like the service providers or the IPS address or whatever, but whatever documents they tried to destroy, they can get them, and it goes back to Kushner, and that goes back to here. So both him and Kushner, we're not seeing it, but it looks like they're both stuck in legal battles, and the minute they catch this guy, he's going to rat his brother out, or his brother-in-law out, to save his own ass. But yeah, like I said, I can only see everything that's, it looks like he's dealing mostly with his past. Currently, he's involved in a lot of arguing. He's having to debate, compete, and fight with the whip here, but he's lying about it. And for some reason, also, it's like it's been put on hold. The arguments that he's going to have to, or that he's involved in, have been blocked, and he's doing okay right now. And the block is coming from his father. Okay, so his father put a stop to it, but it's only temporary. He's followed here by the what do you call this? The Clovers, and the Clovers is in the House of Heart. So his father was able to help him out, but it's only temporary. Once he's gone, this boy is screwed, and they have the evidence. The key is in the House of Man. They have the evidence on him and Kushner here for the money that they took, everything that they did in the meetings. If this involves the NRA may be getting investigated as well, because this is an organization that is dangerous here, that he's involved in somehow. So I'm wondering if the NRA is involved in this too, or they have links to the NRA. But right now, down his column, he's safe. Even though all this is going on behind that his past, everything that he's currently dealing with, he's safe temporarily with the anchor right before him and the Clovers right behind him. Sooner or later, he's going to be receiving an invitation. There is the letter over here down this diagonal to the bouquet. It's going to be a while, but he's going to be getting an invitation. And by I mean invitation, it's more than likely a subpoena, because he's only temporarily safe. And that temporary safety is coming through his father obstructing. But it's only temporary. Let me see. And Ivanka too. And Ivanka too. So let me look at his little square very quickly. Like I said, we can only see this line ahead. There's a new investigation, or they found something that he's suspicious of that's in the early stages that has to do with securing the elections and where the bribery was coming from. It's been delayed for him. He's experiencing delays, but he's pretty happy and pretty safe for now. Okay? And then here we have an email and an opportunity for an affair or an opportunity for generosity, and then a woman in her career. That goes here. I had done one for Ivanka Trump too. Looks like she quits. I'll have to take the time and post that grand tableau for you guys. But like I said, he's stuck with legal issues because of these right here, the tower and the snake. He's stuck with legal issues. He's only safe temporarily. Sooner or later, he's going to get the news that, hey, we have your emails for this opportunity here for an affair, and it has to do with the woman that was brought to light. So, and this could be Hope Hicks. This could be, I had designated this, excuse me, I had designated this to be Ivanka Trump. But it could also be presenting as Hope Hicks. It could also be presenting as Maria Butina. If I follow this line, it could also be presenting Letitia James at SDNY because of this. And this lands back on her house. So they have everything that they need. He's only safe temporarily. So, yeah, it looks like it's running the same theme as the original Grand Tableau where he landed all the way over here. But they have him and Kushner. It looks like they have them both, the pair, for the Trump Tower meeting, lying about it to cover it up, documents that were destroyed that were able to be retrieved, emails, taking money for themselves, payment to get this guy into office. So it's almost like they bidding out the presidency, if that makes any sense. Give us money and we'll get him elected. You know what I mean? And then we'll do favors for you, the bribes. So yeah, we're at 1 hour with this one. So I'm going to close that off. I'm going to close this down here. I want to say thank you again to Marie at my table. That you're just so very, 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 very kind, and I really do appreciate it. I want to say hello and welcome to all of the new subscribers. And I will see you guys next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.